welcome back to Slothboxx. This is the MMA show. I'm Lynden Dixon, joined by my co-host, Jack McGann. Jack, how you getting on, mate?
Bonjour, very good, thanks.
Good, that's what we like to hear. Well, today, there's plenty to talk about, but let's start off talking about that huge UFC 296 card coming in a couple of weeks now, headlined by Leon Edwards and Colby Covington. Firstly, just talk about that fight alone. Well, how do you see that going just initially? Is it a good fight?
I think, it's definitely a good fight, and I think that Colby Covington's in a really entertaining fight, no matter what he's in, just because of his personality and that. And I think maybe Leon Edwards is a very I'll let me fight and do the talking kind of fighter. And I think to break through to that star role, you need like a fight to put you up there to bring your personality right out. And I think that maybe this isn't so much the fight that in itself, but maybe the build up and the press conferences before it, because Colby will bring that out of him with his just the way he is. He just gives everyone shit and that. Then this could be like a big 2-1 for him, even though he's the champion and his last performance cemented that. I'm on about like breaking through some more the mainstream headline cards kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's that side of it, and then as far as the fight goes, I think that if you look at Leon in the first fight with Usman, when he got beaten every round and then just pulled out the bag at the end, compared to the last fight when it was just like a shutout pretty much for Leon. If he keeps building on that, I think that he'll just be a bit too much for Colby. But Colby's really good and he's an engine, so it is really like a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm a new fan to MMA. I'm not going to lie about that. So when I was looking at like the two fighters, comparing them, just like in terms of numbers and shit like that, Leon Edwards is 28, Colby Covington is 40. In MMA,
is he 40?
40. Does that make a difference?
And any fight that makes a difference. Well, no, it's like you can definitely compete a bit later on than other combat sports, but when you're hitting 40, then I think that no matter what, you're just slower in your numbers. You can't get the same numbers you was even 5 years ago. So, but I don't know. But in my eyes, if you'd ask me, maybe I won't know till I get there. But I can't imagine that your body performs the same way at 40. You're definitely on right the end.
So let's talk about the next fight. This one there, Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm trying not to butcher these fucking names. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Big fight in it. I've seen like looking at it online. A lot of fans are like excited for that one.
Yeah, I think the Wonderboy's weird though, because like sometimes because he's so standoffish and he because he's like a kicking expert and fights at such range. Sometimes if you get someone else who stands off a bit as well, it can be a bit of a boring fight. You know what I mean? Or
Is that
if you get
is that how Rakhmonov is in terms of his style? Does he stand off a bit as well?
He can do, but I think he's a bit more come forward. And I think when you get someone like that who fights Wonderboy, that's where he can shine, and it makes his style really comes out, and it makes for more of an entertaining fight.
Who do you think's going to win that one?
I think that I don't know, because Wonderboy's getting on. He's older. I'm not sure how old he is, but he must be late 30s. I think Wonderboy will get beaten, then he'll sort of go back to it, because he's never really broke right through. He's always got right to about this point, fighting against the top guy, and then can't do it. So I think that's another case of this. I think that I think he'll get beat.
The next fight that I want to talk about, the last one that I'll talk about from this card, a fight that us Brits are looking forward to, because it's Tony Ferguson against Paddy Pimblett. There's a lot to talk about here. First impressions after, it's been a few weeks since we last spoke about that fight. How do you see that going? Because I never thought I'd see them both in the cage together. Like, if you said that to me a year ago, that this fight would be happening,
Yeah.
I'd be just as confused as I am now. How do you see it going?
Uh, there's so many. You know what? It's
There's
hard to
so
call it
much to
because
pick.
there's so many moving parts to it. Because you've got like um Tony's on the last street that he's on, but then so that should be obvious. You stand back and go, well, Paddy's gonna blather him. But then if you look at who he's fought, they're all monster after monster. So that sort of nullifies that argument. And then you go, well, Paddy wasn't great in his last fight, and it was a close fight. So some people think that he lost. A lot of people think he won, but no matter what way you think the fight went, he didn't perform.
Yeah,
Um, so then people are going, well, is is the hype train done with Paddy? But then him getting put in his first big um main card fight, because that's the last fight before the title fights.
mm,
Um, so I believe so. With that pressure and fighting his first big fight, he's going to be the best he's been as well. So that sort of nullifies that one. That's why I just don't think. But then with Tony's age and stuff, you might look and go, well, he might get in there and just feel. You think he's 41. He might look 41. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't see. I think you'll tell how that fight goes in the first minute. I believe that. I can't. I believe Paddy will win. I'm not too sure how, but I do believe no matter who wins in that fight, that it won't be like a close fight and it'll come right down to the wire. I believe that one of them will perform and one of them just won't, and
yeah.
it'll get not ran through, but I believe you'll see who's going to win that fight. You'll be able to tell who's going to win that fight in the first minute. I do believe Paddy will win just because um it's there for him and he's just coaches why what I want. I'm going to be incredibly biased anyway, but I just think that he'll be that switched on. And I think Tony's age will show.
Mm. For me, it's like you mentioned it there. The hype train around Paddy, and like after his last fight, people were questioning his quality, and has it all been bollocks? Do you know what I mean? Like all of this, the media around him and building him up to be what he is. Has it all just been bullshit, really? But for me, imagine the hype train if he beats Tony Ferguson. It's like there's so much riding on this fight.
I know, but here's the thing. Though, it's like Paddy, and Paddy said this himself. He's like, it's a lose-lose for him. I don't think it is. Like, it's a lose-lose for him because if he wins, people say, "Oh, Tony's on a
Yeah.
short-term like blue streak," and if you win, it's like, "Oh well, it's only Tony."
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I think that um the only way definitely. Hang on, sorry.
Let's go. Let's go on. What
I
would you
don't know
say,
if you
mate?
could do that. I don't know if you could do that. That was like top heads. Yeah. So I think that it's not like it's not. It's definitely still a win if he wins, no matter how he wins.
Mm.
It's still big for him. It's better. It's a lot better than like the last guys Paddy's beat. I haven't known any of them before he fought
Yeah.
them. So at least with this one, we all know Tony. He might be over the hill a bit, but still we all know him. But I believe the only way he gets right back to like get the most he can out of it is if he just comes out and just smashes through him.
Yeah.
Whether that be take him down and submit him straight away, or and make it look like a piece of piss, or knock him out. That's how you. That's the way you can really get over this sort of it's a loss either way situation.
Mm.
But no matter what way you spin it, that he's going to win on a main card and then in a high profile fight and then put himself right up there. I
Mm.
think that's an important thing. It's like this is the first person he fought where everyone knows him.
And the thing
So
is,
it's
like,
just weird matchmaking, but I believe that's the main thing. They looked at who can we get him who like everybody knows and Tony was there and yeah,
what
that's
do you
why it
think
is.
to this stuff with Tony Ferguson training with David Goggins? Because for me, that it's just fucking, it's mental.
I I love David I love David Goggins.
Mm.
I've listened to both his books like a couple of times and he's an absolute barn pot. but he's
Is it
but
good
it's
for
like
Tony Ferguson?
don't know. At the end of the day, I don't believe that if he's done his full camp with um with David Goggins, then I don't think it's the best because it's not functional at all. At all. Do
Mm.
you know what I mean? It's not even like I can't even imagine everything David Goggins does is like you go till you're dead and then you go a little bit more.
Like, imagine
It's
if
not
you did a full camp. Your next fight is going to be that British title fight. Imagine if you did a full camp with him.
I
Just
know,
like
but
it
well
wouldn't. I
I love
can't
him
see
that
the
much.
benefit you'd get from it.
I love him that much. I probably go Gwed, so put us on the same after. No, but it's like even if it's not even like functional to where like oh we'll do this for like 3 5 minute rounds and then you'll do you know what I mean? It's just literally till you go and then it's like how does that affect other training days? If that writes you off, then I can't even in 2 3 days it'll affect you in sparring. It'll affect you in. So I think maybe what happens is. 'Cause don't forget all that like stuff they're putting out. That could have been weeks and weeks ago.
Yeah,
That could have been right at the start of camp, and that I think that is what it is. I don't think he's doing the middle of his camp doing all that shit or right at the ends. And I think that was done right at the start when performance doesn't really matter in the gym,
mm,
and it's just about getting in and whatever and whatever. So maybe you just done that. They've shot loads of footage, and that's what's coming out now.
mm.
Which because David Goggins is David Goggins.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
just adds to the story as well. So it does a couple of jobs. But I just if he's been doing that in the middle of his camp or at the end of his camp, that's just stupid.
Yeah. The last
Because
thing on this, I just want to talk about Paddy. Just one last thing. Do you think, with him being who he is, he's sort of gone from a fighter to almost like a media personality now? Like the
mm,
casuals know him, even people that aren't casuals, less than that, they know who he is. Do you think he gets too much stick? Because in my opinion, I feel like because of his personality, he's been put there, like involuntary. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he wanted that when he first started. In my opinion, you might think otherwise, but do you think he gets too much stick from the fucking haters?
mm, maybe people like jumping on bandwagons. Whether that was when he first started and everyone was like, he's amazing. Or it was after his last fight when everyone was like, oh, he's fucking shite, he's not always made up to it. It's like people just like jumping on trends, you know what I
Mm,
mean? So, but I think like he's always been like that, Paddy. I think I don't know what to say, but probably like, but I think that his attitude's always been, I'm not asked, and I think
yeah,
that comes out a little bit. So maybe he's gone against me a little bit, but I think it's hard to tell in this time when he had all that shite last time, and then he hasn't been able to like scrub it out with a fight with a big win. If he would have fought 3 months after that and got a win, all this would have been gone. No, it's because he got injured and then he went away and whatever. Which I do think is going to be a part of this fight as well. He hasn't fought in like maybe a year or something, and
mm,
Tony has. So, but yeah, I don't think he's brought it himself, but I think his attitude has a little bit. But I think the big part of it is just he hasn't been able um
to shake it because he hasn't
to
fought.
shake it, to scrub it off, to fix it a bit. You know what I mean? So,
Mm,
like that was so long ago. Now you've had 12 months of everyone saying, "Oh, but his last fight was this or that
yeah,
or whatever." So, people jump on bandwagons the way they do. So I think that it's just a bit of that. But we'll see. He's got the opportunity to fix it. But then, like I've just said 2 minutes ago, he's not. I don't think he's asked.
yeah.
He's still no matter what. Like there's no
He's
such thing
don't
as bad.
phase him, does it?
There's no such thing as bad pressure. Um, it's like even if you get booed on the way in, he won't like. But I'm saying fighters who get booed like the way in, that's a lot more polarizing than someone who just gets a few claps. You know what I mean? I'm saying there's roles you can play. So no matter if what people are talking, good or bad, as long as they're talking, then in fighting, it's a good thing when you need all eyes on you. Do
Mm,
you know what I mean? So even
yeah,
if all the people tuning in are watching you to get beat, it's better
they're
than no
still
one, no
tuning in.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a good card though. It's a great card. I'm gonna usually I watch them like the next day, but I'll put my alarm clock on for that one.
Well, moving away from that card, I want to talk a little bit about something that you told me about. This whole Ian Gary situation. I've been
Yeah.
trying to like catch up because I feel I was a little bit late to it. But mate, just explain what the fuck, what the fuck, what the hell is
So,
going on? This whole thing is crazy.
and also, it's like, I think that the kid he's fighting, I've just like pieced this all together a little bit, but the kid he's fighting, I'm sure he was in the same gym.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, so that's already a bit of a weird one. They both
Mm.
accepted the fight when he was in the same gym. But then it's sort of like he's married to some woman who's like 40 and he's 26, just
That's
fine.
mental, by the
But
way. The first thing, he's how old is he? 26, and he's married a
yeah,
40-year-old. What's going on there?
I know, but then he took her name, and then his strength and conditioning coach is a ex fella who apparently turned him vegan, which is just like anyone just snatching at anything just to like put more onto it. What else was it? So all I've seen all week,
And she's
and
wrote
then
that book, How
oh,
to
she
Be a
wrote a
Wag.
book, yeah, like 15 years ago or something like that. And then other people come out like Sean Strickland come out and said like, "What are you playing at? What are you playing at?" They just spelled it out, and then you come back and was like, "I'll sue you for um, for like bad mouthing me or whatever." But it's just like a big mess, and for the biggest fight of his life, don't think he needs a big mess, do you? And he's going to be going on to this press conference with a lot of people who aren't afraid to grab the mic
Yeah.
and let fly. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at them press conferences. But
Mm,
um, I think that's another thing where people have just that's another thing with trends. Like people just jump on stuff.
mm.
Like
'Cause-
it's like people are saying like it's like Chinese whispers. Oh, that fella made him vegan. To like load his test numbers, just all like mad
mm,
stupid shit, and it's just like anything. But people just keep adding on to it. But I just think that press conference is going to be interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how he handles it all because like it must be the pressure gets turned up anyway when you're on bigger cards, but then you've got all this to deal with as well. So don't know, we'll see, but it is like everywhere I look this week on YouTube and that, obviously because I watch a lot of MMA and boxing stuff.
mm.
I get fed it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah.
it just everyone's just making videos on it, so God knows how he's coping with it. But we're gonna see. What day is it? Is this Saturday? Innit? No, it's next Saturday,
Yeah,
the
next
16th.
Saturday.
Yeah, so the main press conference will be the middle of next week, won't it? So we'll find out then.
Because that's the thing, like, when you told me about it, I was like trying to find what I can, listening to what I can. And then I went on his Instagram, yeah, and he posted this video like in the middle of November talking to his wife about the book. And then like he was saying like, oh, I don't think you're a wag, this and that. And then they was like having a laugh, and he said, oh, like go and cry to your ex-husband, who was like stood behind the camera. And for me,
Yeah,
watching that, as strange as this whole fucking dynamic in his house is, I just thought like, oh, he's like he looks so comfortable with it. As weird as it is, like he's clearly comfortable with the situation. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in
yeah.
it. But now, like you said, there's everyone's talking about it. So much has been built up. That's it's all that is going to be spoken to about in that press conference. I'm not. How is it? I'm so interested to see how he's going to react now.
I just don't
He
know
accepted his end,
I
but
know, but
now's the next one.
I just don't know how it caught fire because
Yeah,
how
where
it
did it?
caught fire because
Who brought it up? Like,
obviously I imagine he's been with his wife for when she was his birth
yeah,
for like a good while. So the age gap was the same then, and no one was jumping on it. So I just don't know what's kicked it all off. Where everyone's just
mm,
rooting through his life and looking for stuff to talk about. But um, I don't know. We'll see next week.
well, the last thing I want to talk about is obviously we spoke about UFC 296. We're close to the UFC 300. I just want to talk to you. What are you expecting from that card? Because there's talk about people coming back to do one-off fights, so like retired fighters to settle shit, like George St Pierre fighting Nick Diaz. Like that would just be mental. And
Yeah,
what do you think it's going to be like a historic card? Because they're saying that
yeah.
Conor McGregor
It,
isn't going to be on it, but then I saw the other day that Dana White said he might. Like, there's so
Well,
much going on.
here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Conor thing. If you put Conor on a card, he's got to be the main event.
Yeah,
he's the biggest thing in UFC, even though he hasn't fought in however long. But you can't put Conor as main event if there's title fights on.
Yeah,
But you need title fights on because it's UFC 300. You'll
yeah,
probably have 4 or 5. The last UFC 100 and 200, there was no gimmick fights like getting old people back or whatever. So I don't think it'll be that. I just think it'll be, I don't know, but you know, even no rumors and that a lot of the top guys have just fought or are
and
booked
that's
in.
what I was.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I was
all.
going to ask you about next.
I
So
just don't
many
know.
of the UFC's like sort of fucking prized assets, like you just said, have just fought. So I can't wait to see who they're going to put on that card because most UFC cards are quality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
well,
UFC
yeah, I know
300,
exactly,
who's going to make it?
exactly. So, and it's like you never know. Maybe someone has a big if one of these next week has a big massive performance that blows everything out the water. They might go, well, you're on that, you're on two, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
go on 200. So you don't know, and as much as you sit there and say, um, Connor wouldn't be on it because you'd have to be main event. Maybe they just would do that
yeah.
the first time. Bent rules for him. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I don't know. I just think that they'd have to announce it soon. Like, but I haven't got a clue. I wouldn't know. I'd love to see someone like GSP or you know what though. Getting all the fighters back usually doesn't deliver. Like I think getting Nick Diaz back the way he fought his last couple when he did come back wasn't Nick Diaz. It was like a shell of his former self. Um, but GSP, I think if he come back and fought, you'd get GSP like he did when he fought before Bisping. But I don't know. I think that the only one that makes sense, what I reckon I could see happen is GSP with a path. Now I don't see anyone else
Coming
what
back.
work. They'd just be like a because I don't think they'd be able to do it. I think one thing you can say about GSP really looks after himself and he still lives the life because you can't switch it off. So I don't know. I don't think it'll be a gimmick fight. I wouldn't rule out putting Conor on it. I think that if you get a blowout performance off one of these next week, they could just as easily be on it. It's
Yeah.
all numbers, isn't it? So if someone does something that goes viral over the week, next week, then they could ensure themselves a slot. But you just don't know.
Mm.
But I don't think it'll be gimmick fights. I think it'll be an amazing card anyway. And maybe they'll have to just put Conor on it because not being funny, but this should be the last card you could do with him where it's like a 300 because you're not going to make 400. Do you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, we'll see, but they'll have to get a move on.
Mm. Well, mate, time to wrap it up there. I've been Lynden Dixon. He's been Jack McGann. This has been the MMA show on Slothboxx, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.